And that's the choice. The choice is clear, whether it's security, whether it's prosperity, but it's also a clear choice when it comes to values. And this president, from very early on, has stood strong for our most cherished liberties. And President Donald Trump and our administration has stood for the religious freedom of every American of every faith, and we always will. You know, the freedom of religion has been called our first freedom. And even a casual study of the American founding will demonstrate you that people came to this country early on for many reasons, but chief among them was the freedom of religion. And that's why this president took such strong steps early on. He's the first president in American history to actually convene an international conference on religious liberty, not once, but twice. He spoke at the United Nations about our commitment to the freedom of religion. He ended the enforcement of the Johnson Amendment so that pulpits around the country could be free to speak once again. And President Donald Trump ended the assault on the Little Sisters of the Poor, and this year the Supreme Court made it permanent. I mean, why that even had to happen, I don't get it. You know, I was an altar boy. You know, I grew up in a wonderful Catholic family. I mean, you got a group of nuns that take a pledge of poverty to spend their entire lives helping the poor. But when Joe Biden was vice president, they became a target of the administration, a target of Obamacare mandates. And believe it or not, after the Supreme Court, by a 7-2 vote, said that President Trump was right when we ended the assault on the Little Sisters of the Poor, Joe Biden actually said they're going to take it up again to impose those Obamacare mandates back on the Little Sisters of the Poor. But we're not going to let it happen, because we're going to re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years. It has not just been about our religious liberty, it's also been about an issue so near and dear to the hearts of tens of millions of Americans in my little family. In Joe Biden, you have a candidate who actually supports taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. It's extraordinary. Throughout his career, Joe Biden was one of those Democrats that said he supported abortion rights, but he always voted for what's known as the Hyde Amendment, which prevented the use of taxpayer dollars from being used to fund abortion. But last year, Joe Biden abandoned that, and now he supports taxpayer funding of abortion. And I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who stands for the right to life. And we always will. You know, Joe Biden is actually calling for historic increases in funding for the largest abortion provider in America, Planned Parenthood. And I got to tell you, it was my privilege as President of the Senate to cast the tie-breaking vote that would allow states across America to defund Planned Parenthood, and President Donald Trump signed it into law. You know, when you look at their agenda in detail, which they didn't talk about much at their national convention, did you notice that? If you look at it in detail, I wouldn't want to talk about it either. But men and women across Wisconsin, we got to talk about it in the next 50 days. I mean, the truth is, when you look at that agenda, you can see that Joe Biden would be nothing more than a Trojan horse for the radical left. I mean, the choice in this election has never been clearer, and the stakes have never been higher. Joe Biden said in his convention that democracy was on the ballot. Well, I think our economic recovery is on the ballot. Law and order are on the ballot. But I also believe that there are things more foundational to our country that are on the ballot as well. I've said it before, I'll say it again. In this election, I think 50 days from now, it's not going to be so much whether America ends up more conservative or more liberal, more Republican or more Democrat, more red or more blue. I think the choice in this election is whether America remains America. So we've got to decide right here and right now that we are going to fight to leave our children and grandchildren a country grounded in our highest ideals: freedom, free markets, the unalienable right to life and liberty. I mean, we stand at a crossroads in a very real sense. You know, my wife loves poetry. Robert Frost is her favorite poet. And the poem she likes the most is the one that talks about two roads diverged in a woods. It says, two roads diverged in a woods, and I took the road less traveled by. And it's made all the difference. The American people have always taken the road less traveled by. The road of more freedom, of more personal responsibility, of boundless opportunity. And we've got to make sure in 50 days that we choose that road again. We've got to decide right here and right now that Joe Biden will never be President of the United States. We're going to re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years. The stakes are that high, and the opportunity is that great. The President was talking about all our plans at our national convention and just a couple of days ago in Michigan. You know, 4 more years means more jobs. 4 more years means more judges. 4 more years means more support for our police. More support for our troops. And it's going to take at least 4 more years to drain that swamp. So it's on, Wisconsin. 50 days and counting. Now, it really is great being with all of you. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for coming out on a Monday morning. It's very humbling for me. And while I got you, can I just say, thank you for the privilege of serving as your vice president. It's the greatest honor in the world. But now we have work to do. Now we have work to do. Because I want to be your vice president for 4 more years. You know, it was interesting, a little more than 4 years ago, I'd only met our president a couple of times. It's true. We didn't know each other very well before he called me to ask me to join this ticket. And we've gotten to be very close over the last 4 years. I mean, some people think we're kind of different. But I got to tell you, seeing him when the cameras are off, I'll tell you, straight from my heart, President Donald Trump has never stopped fighting to keep the promises that he made to the people of Wisconsin. He has fought for you every day. And now it's our turn to fight for him. So I encourage you. I got a plane to catch. I'm actually going to Montana today. And sadly, there's not a horse in my future. But it's really been great being with you today. I want to encourage you to get out and tell the story. I want you to say I was in Janesville the other day. I ran into Mike. Early on a Monday morning, that guy seemed so fired up about everything that we have done for America. And he said, we're just getting started. That's why we need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. You got to go tell them. Tell your neighbors and friends. And when you do, when you get out there and talk to your neighbors and your friends at work, at worship, across the backyard fence, she just tapped her watch and said, I want to get out there. She said, let's go. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she said, wear your heart on your sleeve. Let people see your heart. And see the difference that this president's made in the country. That's a beautiful line. Thank you so much. But just tell them what we've done. Tell them what the stakes are. Tell them what the stakes are. I think the choice has never been clearer and the stakes have never been higher. And just, when you go out, just have faith. Have faith in your neighbors and friends to be able to see through the onslaught, the constant attacks that come from the other side and their allies in the media. To see through, to know everything this president has done for this country and everything that we have yet to do. I mean, the American people saw through it in 2016, and I know they're going to see through it on November 3rd, 2020. And lastly, I'd encourage you to have that other kind of faith, too. It seems like if you turn on the television these days that there's more than divides us in these United States than ever before. But I'll always believe that there's always been more that unites us across this country than could ever divide us. And chief among those things is our faith. This is a nation of faith. And so I just say if you're inclined like the Pences to bow the head and bend the knee, I'd encourage you to do that too over the next 50 days. And on this one, I'm not so much asking that you pray for a candidate or for a cause as much as you just pray for our country. Pray for all the American people. Because I'll always believe those ancient words that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray, he'll do like he's always done through much more challenging times even than we face today. He'll hear from heaven, and he'll heal this land. This one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So pray for America. And if you all do that, I know that with your continued support, with your voice, with you, she said it, you wear that passion, wear that red hat, and wear that love for all that we've done together on your sleeve. Between now and November 3rd, we're going to lead a great American comeback. We're going to make Wisconsin and America stronger and more prosperous than ever before. We're going to make it safer, more secure than ever before. And with President Donald Trump in the White House for 4 more years and Congressman Brian Stile in a new Republican majority in the Congress of the United States, and with God's help, we will make America great again. Again. Thank you very much.